Good morning. I apologise now, I've lost track a little bit of where I am with the video, so I don't know if I've completed a video and this is my intro talk, or if this is like kind of an interim thing where the next morning. So I kind of do half and half and see where we are. One of the earlier videos, you might have heard me waffling on about these hole saw drill things, needing to find good quality ones. This is the 50mm one I've just taken off. Dear. Well, there we are. As I said before, if anyone knows of like a reasonable quality of these at a reasonable price, let me know. I'm quite pleased with that. So I've now got the base front chassis all cut and all lined up. What I've been quite careful of is to make sure that all these angles on both sides are the same. So you can see that one there from the screw holes, and it's from the other side. They're all the same on both sides. So the car should be square, well, triangle, whatever shape you want to call it. You won't be surprised to know that the scrap metal box has a couple more bits in it. That's not all scrap metal from this project, by the way. Some of these bits are from garage sort out. And obviously we also have a little accumulation of tube here that hopefully is going to be able to be used for other parts of the car where I've cut them wrong. I don't know who that annoying person was who came up with that saying, measure twice and cut once. I try doing that all the time. I measure and I measure and I measure, and I still seem to be able to get it wrong. So, I don't know. I guess that's the way it is. So next session out here we'll be getting the 25mm box section. So we're going to have a bit down the middle, cross there, which will be like the pedals will be there, and the front rear suspension mounts. That makes sense. Across there, across here, which is where the front roll cage would be as well, across there. First thing I'll start off with is like a little lesson learned thing for me. So this chop saw, cheapy eBay thing, it's been great so far. What I don't have is any spare, I don't know the right term for those, blade? It's not really a blade, or whatever the hell it is. And of course what happens is these things start off quite big, but as they wear down, because they're a smaller radius, they wear quicker. Does that make sense? A bit like an old LP, isn't it? You know, when it's in the middle, it goes quick. Anyway, so what I hadn't noticed is this was wearing down, and then of course it then wears down at a hell of a rate. And I'm now in the position whereby it's only just got enough meat left to actually cut some tubes, so it might slow me down a little bit. I have ordered some on good old eBay, and they're on their way, but we're near Christmas, so I'm not sure if they're going to arrive or not. So I was out and about in the Exo booth yesterday, and I dropped by B&Q. Now this thing takes 350 discs. The biggest they had in B&Q was 300. I thought, oh, that's fine, that's better than nothing. Stupidly, what I didn't check is this, which is the hole in the middle. The hole in the middle on mine is 25.4, which just happens to be an inch. So of course I can't fit this one. So there we are, lessons learned from me. Hopefully if you're watching these and doing similar stuff, like maybe my stupidity might save you a few quid. So I've been busy yesterday as well as going out for a drive in the Busa and getting lost, but anyway, that's by the by. So that is the front suspension mount, the front one if you like, because the front rear will be slightly higher. So So what I'm going to do is basically that kind of sits in there. Obviously that's to scale. I've already got that one done and marked, so if my cutter has got enough meat left in it to cut these, then I'm going to do those, because this point here is going to be quite critical for when I'm doing the, if you like, the upper chassis, because it's basically the upper chassis key points are there, which is the top of this, and the front roll bar, which is there. So I'm going to get those cut, and then the plan is to start doing all the cleaning. I'm not going to bother videoing cleaning. I should imagine it's watching me clean up bits of tube will be about as interesting as watching paint dry. So I will catch you in a minute. So I've just had all the bits of tube on the belt sander thing. Oh, by the way, I did a little review on this. One of the people commented on the review that it gets really hot. So I probably just had this running for about half an hour, and it is warm, but not hot. But I don't push too hard on there to slow the motor down. Anyway, that's a by the by. Yeah, so I cleaned all these up. I don't know if you can see there. So just sort of sanded the ends. And next job is to use acetone on there to clean all up. And like I said before, I'm going to try and probably find an old toothbrush or bottle brush or something to try and clean the inside a bit. It's funny with them all piled up like that. It doesn't really look much like a car chassis, does it, really? Anyways, probably before I do any acetoning and try and clean these up, it might be an idea if I actually clean myself up. So I'm going to go do that and then give them all a clean. And then it will be welding time. Yay! I like welding time. Okay, so next stage is... I can't find where I put it. All the way over there. I've nicked an old toothbrush from in the house. But before I can try cleaning up the inside of the outside, I just need to make sure there's definitely no burrs, else all that happens is when you use a cloth to wipe, all the little bits of cloth get stuck to the burrs, and then instead of it being clean, you've got bits of cotton or something stuck, which is obviously of no use. There we are. I'm trying to do my best with this. I've got to say, if you had a team of people, or like if you had the neurodiverse A-team working for you, you wouldn't stick the one with ADHD on doing the cleaning up and prep for welding. I have to keep reining myself in just to make sure I'm doing this properly, because I just want to, the prep bit I'm not that keen on. I just want to get on and make some sparkies and welding. Anyway, I'll try and rein it in. I got a cup of coffee, that always helps. All these bits are all nice and clean. Done all of those as well. And I have a plan. So the ones that I'm going to have to weld all the way around, I'm going to tack those first down one side. Not that end bit. So I'm going to tack, 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 tack. Then I'm going to weld those all the way around, because I can then take them out of my jig, whatever the hell you want to call it, and weld them all the way around, and I can get to it quite easily. Then once those are in, I'm then going to do the cross member bits that go to the middle, but just do the outside. So again, I can easily take this out and weld all around. Thing with this table being able to tip and all that is it's going to be really helpful when I've got the upper part of the chassis on. That's a good little diagram, isn't it? Because I can then rotate it all around. But obviously it doesn't matter what I rotate around when it's down on the ground or down on the deck here, I can't get all the way around. So yeah, so I can then fully weld, and then once all those bits are done, it would then be a case of going into the middle and tacking, and then I'll have to turn the whole structure over then and fully weld. Basically what I'm trying to do is minimize how much I'm turning over at a time. I don't know if that helps or no. It makes sense to me. You can see these are all nice and clean, so hopefully we should get nice clean welds. It may seem a bit daft to you. It seems a bit daft to me, to be honest. But I'm actually feeling slightly nervous about doing this first weld. I don't know why, but I am. I just thought I'd let you know that. Did forget to do is, there's my spotlight. I find this light really useful because obviously this is one of these instant darkening visors, but still good. Really, I think get as much light as possible on what we're doing. Tack down. So I've tack welded both of them this side. I'm going to try and go all the way around now. Well, it won't be in one hit obviously, because this has got to be done in several stages. So you can join me for a little bit of weld inspection. I've just given it a little brush with the wire brush. Tiny little bit there. I'll go over. I'm quite confident I've got penetration, which is the most important thing. Okay, so that is passenger side welded up. Then what I'll need to do is I'll see what happens when I put the side bits on, whether I need to just clean a little bit of weld off to where the mating surfaces of those are. Yeah, so when I weld, that's the pedal position tube. I don't know, is it worth me? I'm going to show the diagrams. I know it must look quite difficult on the videos sometimes. So that is the pedal position tube. Okay. So what I'm going to do is just grind a tiny little bit of that weld off so that it's nice and smooth. And that will be the front one. I should do the same with that. As you can see, that just sits a bit nicer where I've just taken the sort of lumps and bumps off the weld. I reckon I made some good progress this afternoon. So both sides are welded all the way along, not that end bit. I've got one side bit fully welded on, so this is the pedal position, welded on both, and I've tack welded the main tube that goes down the middle. I'm going to call it a day there because I've got a little bit of other work I need to do, and then hopefully bright and breezy tomorrow morning I'll be out here again. I thought I'd do a quick little explain in case anyone's wondering how on earth I managed to spend quite so much time in the garage and apparently don't seem to actually have to spend any time working. Wow, it's quite simple really. So I'm self-employed. My main business is Cart Crazy, which so I'm an electronic engineer, and I make and repair stuff for data logging and lap timing for motorsport. Obviously we're in December at the moment and motorsport goes very quiet. People don't tend to break stuff this time of year, so my work goes really quiet. Also, the sort of side gig that I've mentioned before is instructing on these supercar event, have a go days, which also of course stops this time of year. I did the last one a couple of weeks ago and they don't restart till February. So I've kind of given myself, I'll probably have 2 or 3 weeks. I wouldn't say completely off work because I'm kind of going in, I work from home, so I'm kind of doing an hour or so in the mornings, just making sure everything's okay, answering emails or whatever else I need to do. Then getting on out here for most of the day. So it's brilliant, really. Obviously, come the spring, I'm not going to have much time at all to be out here because I'm going to be fixing lots of people's stuff that they've broken. And hopefully at Llandow and Dunsfold and various other places, having people driving me around in Astons and Lamborghinis and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, just in case you wondered and thought, how's he actually earning money? That's what I do.